Newsstands, Mark Jewelers, and Todd McFarlane are all the rage. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lawrence here at Mighty Comics Collectibles, your one-stop shop for everything nostalgia and everything collectible. Today, of course, is our Hot 10 Comics of the Week breakdown, and what I do in this video, I've been doing this one for a while, about 4 or 5 years now. I take the 10 hottest comics according to the key collector app, and I break them down for you, letting you know which books I'm buying, at which prices, and of course, which I'm staying away from. And before we get started, I remind you guys every video, if you're not a current sub of the channel, you guys are missing out on vids like this. Make sure you're subbed up. You will not regret it. Do me a solid, hit that like button for me. We're trying to share this one out there with everyone out there in the YouTube universe. With that said and out of the way, let's get into this week's breakdown. Starting us off this week at number 10 is G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 1, the first team appearance of G.I. Joe. 6 copies beat the average this week with a high in a CGC 9.8 newsstand selling for $1,825 and up a crazy 57% over the average. Next up, we had a CGC 9.2 sale for only $250 but still up 24% over the average. G.I. Joe makes his debut in 2025 on the Hot 10 Comics of the Week breakdown. You guys know I love G.I. Joe. I'm an 80s kid, although I will say, you guys know this, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Thundercats were always before G.I. Joe. With that said, do I want to own the book? I don't want to spend crazy amounts of money in a 9.8 newsstand and get a raw copy for cheap. I'd be all over it. But what I'd like to do is buy the original carded G.I. Joe figures back from the 1980s. That to me is always a better buy. Back on the list this week at number 9 is Punisher Limited Series number 1. This first solo title featuring the Punisher in this iconic cover by the great Mike Zeck. 13 sales beat the average this week. Man, that is a lot, with a high in a CGC 9.8. Guess what? Another newsstand selling for $1,172 and up 9% over the average. Then we had 6 copies in a 9.6 with a high selling for only $210, up 12% over the average. This marks the 4th time in 2025 that Punisher 1 ranks on the Hot 10 list. You guys know I love this book, but I think in a 9.8, whether a newsstand or direct, is too much money to spend on this one. You can still find this one in the raw form for a hell of a lot cheaper than that. That's what I'd be buying. Out of nowhere this week at number 8 is Spawn number 1, the first appearance of Spawn. An insane 24 copies broke the average this week with 12 in a 9.8. The high for the week was a 9.8 newsstand copy selling for $799, up 47% over the average. Man, that is nuts. Spawn makes his debut on the Hot 10 breakdown in 2025. You guys know this book has been printed to death. We all know that. Do I want to own the book? Yeah. You could spend under $100 to get a really nice copy of this book, whether graded 9.8, non-newsstand, a direct, or just a raw copy. That's what I'm buying. But if you're a big Spawn fan, what I would do is go out and get a Malibu Sun 13, the Error Edition signed by Todd McFarlane, in the best grade you can. Coming in at the 7th spot this week is a classic. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 252 and the first appearance of the Black Symbiote costume in the main title. 13 sales broke the average this week with a high in a CGC 9.8. Guess what? Another newsstand selling for $1,500, up 12% over the average. Then we had a CGC 9.8 direct, still sell for $1,091, up 7% over the average. And finally, a 9.6 sale of $430, up 7% over the average. Is one of my favorite books of all time. This iconic issue earns its spot on the Hot 10 list for the 10th time in 2025. Everybody loves this book. It is a must-own. But do I want to own a 9.8, whether direct or newsstand? I don't want to shell out that kind of cash for this book. It is really popular, almost too popular, to the point where I just want to get myself a nice high-grade raw copy. In fact, that's what I own in my collection. Back-to-back Spidey at number 6. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 316 in this iconic cover by Todd McFarlane. This is also the first full cover appearance of Venom. An insane 16 copies beat the average this week with 7 in a 9.8. Guess what? The high sale for the week was $500, up a crazy 25% over the average. We also had 2 Mark Jewelers sell this week, which were featured on the Tuesday list, the top 10 comics of the week. Make sure you check it out. Venom's first cover appearance qualifies for the list for the third time in 2025. The Todd Father is absolutely going crazy right now. And to me, this is one of his best. Do I want to own the book? Hell yeah. In a 9.8, I think still you can get this book for around $350 in a 9.8. So I don't know why someone is paying $500. I know Todd is super hot right now. Venom is still hot. That's what I'm buying. I would love to own this book in a 9.8, but you got to do your homework. We're halfway through the list, and guess what? We have a trifecta of Amazing Spider-Man keys. At number 5 this week is Amazing Spider-Man 300 and the first full appearance of Venom. This is also an iconic cover by guess who? The Todd Father. 15 sales broke the average this week with a high in a CGC 9.6, selling for $891 and up 8% over the average. Then we had 4 copies sell in a 9.4, with the high being $709, up 22% over the average. This milestone issue returned to the list after a 1-week hiatus for the 23rd time in 2025. How do you like that? If that doesn't tell you how hot Todd McFarlane is and how hot Spider-Man is, I don't know what to tell you. I tell you guys, every time this book was on this list, I want to own it. I don't want to spend the crazy amount of money in a 9.8 or hell, even a 9.6. There's just way too many copies out there. Get yourself a nice high-grade raw copy. Holy shit, I can't believe this book is on this list. Finally, some Silver Age at number 4 this week is Fantastic Four number 12 and the first battle between the Hulk and the Fantastic Four. This is also an iconic cover by the GOAT, Jack Kirby. 6 sales beat the average this week with a high in a CGC 7.0, selling for a cool $3,000, up 14% over the average. Next up, we had a CGC 4.5 sale for $1,300, up 13% over the average. And finally, a CGC 2.5 right at my alley, selling for only $725 and up 14% over the average. This is the first time in 2025 that FF12 has ranked on the Hot 10 list. If you guys know me, you know I absolutely love this book, one of the best covers that has ever been done, and it's a minor key to boot. Do I want to own it? Guess what? You know I do. I'm a buyer of this book. Just do your due diligence and make sure you're a long-term holder. Rounding out the top 3 is one of the hottest books on the market right now. It is Invincible number 1 and the first appearance of Invincible. I was just at New York Comic Con last week, and I cannot tell you how hot everything Invincible is. 9 copies beat the average this week with a high in that CGC 9.8, selling for a crazy $5,000, up 14% over the average. Firmly established as one of the most sought after keys of the modern age, Invincible number 1 returns to the list for the 8th time in 2025. You do not know how hot this book is. It is truly remarkably hot. So much so where I have to say I'm giving it a thumbs down. Too many things going on right now for Invincible, between the show, between all the blind bags, between all the PSA giveaways at New York Comic Con. Be very careful. I want to own the book for the long term, but I think if you wait a bit, you're going to get this one for a better price. Back on the list at number 2 this week is Batman number 423 and this classic cover by guess who? Todd McFarlane. Count them up, guys. 4 covers by the Todd Father made the list this week. That's how hot these comics are. 11 sales beat the average this week with a high in a CGC 9.8, selling for a cool $2,000 and still up 21% over that average. Next up, we had a CGC 9.6 sale for $425, up 3% over that average. And finally, a CGC 9.4 selling for $285, up 8% over the average. This is the 3rd time in 2025, that's it, that Batman 423 has landed on the Hot 10 Comics of the Week. I will say this, if you're a 9.6 buyer and you really think you can get that bump to a 9.8, this is one of those books where I think it could be actually worth it. Outside of that, I want to own the book because of the classic cover, but I don't want to pay out for it. For me, like other books on here, I'd just rather get a nice high-grade raw copy. And finally, at the top spot, number 1, numero uno, the king of comics. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 129 and the first appearance of the Punisher, Frank Castle. This is also an iconic cover by the great Gil Kane and my favorite, John Romita Sr. Only 7 copies beat the average this week. Oh no, is this book finally cooling off? I don't know, guys. Either way, we had a high this week in a CGC 9.6, selling for a crazy $6,300 and up 7% over the average. Next up, we had a CGC 7.5 sale for $1,700 and up 15% over the average. And finally, a CGC 7.0 selling for $1,499 and up 9% over the average. This week marks the 32nd time in 40 weeks that ASM 129 has appeared on the Hot 10 list, and its 11th time at the top spot. This has to be a record. I'm just so glad it's one of my favorite books of all time. Do I want to own this book? 100%. I'm a long-term buyer, no questions asked. But I got to tell you guys, is now the right time to buy this book? It is super hot, really incredible. I don't know. Do I want to own it? If you're a long-term holder, go ahead, buy it. If not, you might want to hold off. Thank you guys again for watching another week. Another great list this week. A lot of Todd McFarlane, a lot of newsstands, and hell, even some Mark Jeweler stuff. With that said, it is now time for my best buy of the week. And this is a tough choice. I am not going to lie to you. I want to get the cheapest book on this list, but the best book on this list is Amazing Spider-Man number 129, The First Punisher. But like I just said, I am really scared if I'm going to buy this book and not hold it for 20 years right now. But if you got to pick one, that's the one I'm picking. Hope you guys enjoyed the list. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics Collectible saying thank you for watching, happy collecting, and make sure you're watching the Mighty Rewind podcast.